Cleveland Browns are 1-1 going into this game against the Giants. We're going to break down your preview for this game. We'll talk about burning Kosar and his thoughts on Deshaun Watson. We'll actually ask ourselves, are we moving the goalposts of Deshaun Watson the opposite way? And Leroy talks about 300 being the new 200. We'll explain all that coming back here on this episode of The Ultimate Browns. Welcome on in to the Ultimate Browns. It's G. Bush with you back again. Friday, we get you ready to go for the New York Giants coming here from Cleveland Brown Stadium or Huntington Bank Stadium, whatever you want to call it. We at the crib. We'll break down this game with the New York Giants. We got a great show for you planned as always. Well, here Leroy Hort was on us as he always joins us on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, talking about the quarterback play across the league. 300 is the new 200. That's kind of crazy, or vice versa. We'll talk about what that exactly means coming up in later on in the show. We also are moving the goalposts in the opposite way for Deshaun Watson. I know a lot of you people is actually accusing me. G. Bush, you're moving the goalposts. You're moving the goalposts for Watson. You're putting the cape on for Deshaun. Well, listen, listen. We're gonna have that conversation. Maybe we might be going in the opposite way. I'll go ahead and let you know how that works here in the second segment. But first, we got to get to the pressing issues with the Cleveland Browns. They go down to Jacksonville, get a win 18-13. Bernie Kosar, as always, joins us on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and he talked about what he saw from Deshaun Watson and what the expectation should be in terms of the Cleveland Browns moving forward and looking at what they need to do to get a win against the New York Giants.
Somehow, some way, anyway, figure out a way to get a W, albeit Sunday's game wasn't aesthetically pleasing nor fun to watch from an offensive artistic standpoint.
It was ugly, Bert.
It was, but typically, and I say this in Cleveland for myself as I was playing, I had to really check my ego at the door, and I had to really realize my stats aren't going to be as good as maybe the other guys around the league, because physically it's challenging to play in Cleveland and throw the ball. But I had to be comfortable with that on that any given Sunday, though, my stats are going to be better than the other team's quarterback, and we were going to end up with a W. So I had that mindset, so I was wanting to just win like that. And I know we weren't playing in Cleveland last week. We were playing in Jacksonville, which sounds like nice weather and Florida weather. It was not nice down there. It basically rained the whole game, and it rained with 15 to 20 mile an hour winds. So for the game 2 of the season, after such a dismal offensive performance in game 1, I absolutely love what we did from a schematic standpoint of just like we started the game. Foreman didn't carry the ball at all in the Cowboys game, right. Yet we start out play 1 of the Jacksonville game with extra lineman in the game, and Nick Harris as the H-back with a power jumbo formation running Foreman right up the middle at a really good Jacksonville defensive line that's more accustomed, though, to pass rushing defensive ends. So what we probably wanted to do against Dallas, we rectified, added it into more of the game plan, physical game planning in game 2. And I think that was the reason Deshaun played better. Yeah, not perfect yet, but and the offensive line played better, and they're easing their way into it. And I think that's the building blocks that we needed to see.
You know, sometimes because I wear these hats and I got glasses on and I wear jewelry and you know, I like to be fly and I'm a little flamboyant and I try to be funny sometimes. I break the monotony up. Sometimes my football acumen gets judged, right? But when you sit back and you realize and you break down what I be saying, I be right a whole lot. But I don't get credit for that because of the way I like to be an entertainer. Like, make no bones about it. When it comes to this game of football, I know a ton about this game of football, and I can understand what needs to be done and analyze the game on another level. You can either decide you deal with your boy G. Bush now or later. Don't let these hats fool you and these glasses fool you. Bernie Kosar comes on and he says exactly what I said 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 6 months ago. The Cleveland Browns need to have some logistical running attack. They're not going to be able to sit back there and throw the football. Week 1, I told them they had to run the football. I told you Jerome Ford shouldn't be getting ran up the middle, getting all these carries, getting 1 yard to carry. Guess what? What did the Cleveland Browns do? I ain't saying they listen to you, boy, but listen, I know what I'm talking about. I told you you're going to have to be married to the run game. Deontay Foreman gave you that tough nose between the tackle running ability. I told you that you're going to have to come in certain games and you're not going to be able to throw for 5,000 yards every single day. Some games you're going to need to do exactly what you need to do to win a football game. And when people watch these games, I don't understand whether you watch them or you skimming through it. I get it. Well, when you go back to the all 22 and when you really break down the quarterback play and you see how Deshaun Watson played, I never said Deshaun Watson played an A-plus spectacular football game where he made throws nobody else in the world could make. I never said that. I said he played good. And Bernie said something right then that a lot of people don't get. When you're playing in the game, you don't have to be better than Patrick Mahomes if he's not playing you. You don't have to be better than Joe Burrow if he's not playing you. You don't have to be better than Lamar Jackson if he's not playing you. You have to be better than that other team's quarterback that you are going against. That's who you have to be better. Only in that game. And it's game to game. Some days you're going to have to go up and go against Patrick Mahomes and throw for 300 and 400 yards because that's what the game dictates. But some games, as in Jacksonville, when it's rainy and muddy and it's a defensive game and a special teams game, you can't be running around here throwing the ball trying to make people feel comfortable. And I'm sorry. I know the referendum. I was just on the Cleveland.com. I know the referendum for the season is find out if Deshaun Watson is good or not. But I'm telling you, boys and girls, football don't work that way. It just don't. And sometimes when I say it, because it's just G. Bush, it gets brushed off, and I'm putting the cape on. I'm a homer. Well, I did. You call Bernie Kosar a homer. You call him that because he's saying exactly what I said. When Leroy Hort comes on, you can call Leroy. What do you want to call him? If you want to call him out his name, call him a Michigan guy, right? He'll be really bad about that. But when he come on, he's saying some of the same things that I'm saying. But I'm the Duke knee jerk. I did give myself a name, so granted, I'll be emotional sometimes. But you take that up with them. Take it up with them. When Sean King came on here, who's been a quarterback coach in the college level, who's been a Super Bowl winning quarterback on Super Bowl rosters, who's played with great people and been in the NFL, when he says Deshaun Watson is more talented than 80% of the quarterbacks in this league, well, then stop saying, well, let me question if he's washed or not. I would expect you guys to defer to those guys. I got 2 quarterbacks on here. One a Cleveland legend, another one that ain't even from Cleveland. He just been around. He ain't got no allegiance to this. That's Sean King. He didn't grow up in Cleveland, Ohio. He didn't grow up in Ohio. He didn't even grow up in the Midwest. So he has no reason to put the cape on and to carry water for Deshaun Watson. Maybe it's just because they're watching the film and they understand it at a different level. So don't take my word for it. Yeah, you brush me off. I'm just a dude with the funny hats. But when you break down line for line, throw for throw, pass for pass, they're going to let you know that there was a great improvement from week 1 to week 2. Is that all we need from him? No. We need another jump. We want to consistently keep putting games together in which he builds on some of the things he did well and minimize the things that he didn't do so well in the first 2 weeks. And that's what quarterback play is about. That's what football is about. That's what the NFL is about. It's 1,000 ways to win a football game. You just got to figure out what best one's going to suit you for that game. And I think Deshaun Watson did that last week. Not saying that in this Giants game, he's not going to have to do it a different way. He may have to do it a different way. He may have to put up those yards. It may be a shootout. But one thing that we all got to understand is there are going to be some people that is not going to be satisfied with nothing that go down this year unless they get a clear picture if Deshaun Watson is the quarterback of the future. Because to be truthful, there's a bunch of people that only care about the quarterback play. They don't really care about the wins and losses, to be honest with you. There's a lot of guys that are fringe fans out there. There's guys that, whatever, right? There's a lot of people like that. So I'm not annoyed by it. I got to see it week by week. Got to see improvement week by week. That's what I'm looking for against the Giants, and we're not taking them for granted. With that being said, we're going to come back, and it sets me up perfectly for what I'm going to talk about next. People tell me I'm moving the goalposts. You said 4,500, G. Bush. Now, all of a sudden, you're moving the goalposts for these Minimowski yards. Well, are we moving the goalposts in the opposite way? I'll give you my rebuttal on that one. Is G. Bush coming right out on the Ultimate Browns? Yes, let's talk about the great people over at GameTime. Listen, the Guardians are fast approaching the World Series. They look like they're going to get a first-round bye. The Guardians is the hottest thing smoking. How great would it be if you want to get out there and check out some of those Guardians games? Well, guess what? Check them out on GameTime. GameTime app has a new feature called GameTime Picks, which makes getting tickets for your live events even easier. GameTime Picks filters out all of the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Hey, speaking of those seats, man, get a panoramic view from your seat in-app before you buy it, right? Lowest prices guaranteed, or GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. Hey, look, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code word LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code word LOCKEDON, LOCKED on NFL for $20 off. Download GameTime app today. What time is it? Game time. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's G. Bush here, dressed to impress as always. Make sure you hit that like button. And don't forget, coming up later in the show, I'm going to give you an opportunity to win 3 Kool-Aid Mafia t-shirts. I'm giving away 3 of them. I'm going to give the code word away and how you enter the drawing coming up later on the show. So don't miss it. Don't move away. Don't go nowhere. Subscribe. Make sure you locked on so you know how to win one of those Kool-Aid Mafia t-shirts. Earlier today, we talked to earlier this week, we talked to Leroy Horde about, what's going on, man? What's going on with everything with the offenses and quarterbacks? We'll talk about that coming up later on in the show as well. But first, I want to get to this thing. Are we moving the goalposts? And people say I move the goalposts because I'm saying, hey, look, don't expect him to throw for 300 yards every single day, every single game. And then I started to realize and think something. I'm already starting to hear some of this noise out here about, well, the Giants are terrible and the Giants are trash and the Browns should do this. Are they going to be over? Are they going to be over? Just really, over arrogant about what they can. Stop playing with me. What we're not going to do is
you watch the first game. You're like, wow, that was horrible. But if you go back and watch the second game against the Jaguars, I done watched every throw twice. And to be truthful, when you look at the PFF scores, he has a 77 grade when it comes to passing. When you watch it, he gets out of the pocket. When you watch it, the balls that he was missing against the Cowboys, he's hitting against the Jaguars. The goal of this thing is not to have Deshaun Watson be the greatest quarterback in the world in week 3. All he needs to do is continue to build on what he did well and minimize the things that he didn't do well. So now we can see downfield throws. I like the fact that you're more accurate on the underneath stuff. Now we want to see some down the field shots, and we want to see you get the ball and do some chunk plays. The accuracy was better. I thought the pocket awareness and escapability was on full display. So look, 186 ain't nothing to write home about, but the consistent improvement is what the Browns want to stack on. And I think this week he'll be better than he was last week. And I discourage people to fight the urge to say this, because we can't have it both ways. If Deshaun Watson plays well against the Giants, I don't want to hear the Giants suck. You only play who is on your schedule, because if he was terrible, we'd say he is terrible. and it was garbage and he's not good
Yeah.
enough.
Well-
But I'm not tempering no results. He's going to be good or he's going to be
And
bad.
that goes both ways.
And it goes both ways.
If he plays horrible,
he going to get that.
Then the fact that the Giants suck very much will be brought up. You know, these were his numbers against a team that is not good.
We week to week.
Again, we're not going to do that. You know, I got a problem with that, man. It's like we can't see whether a team is the NFL. We can't see whether a team is good or bad until we get the results. Like they tried to try that with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, how long is their coach going to be down there? I mean, the Jaguars look abysmal offensively. Stop with that, man. Quit. Like you're using these little gymnastics terms and all this other stuff just to make a point. The point is every single team that comes into this league is got guys that can make plays and do their thing. These games, if you want to tout Vegas so much, why do you think the point spreads aren't every game is like a 3-point spread? It's because they understand how completely competitive these games are. So I'm not going to sit here and minimize his ability or minimize the success or minimize the production that he gets in this game. If on the opposite side, if he comes into this game and he plays bad, everybody's waiting to write articles. Everybody's waiting to be like, I told you so. That's why, be cracking me up. It'd be a quiet week. The Browns win, it'd be a quiet week. And some of y'all is only quiet because you couldn't do the victory lap that you wanted to. But you say, I'm doing a victory lap. No, I'm saying he was better than he was. So let's not do that. I hate when we start chalking up wins and losses. And when we've seen in this league time and time again, these games are coming down to last second kick field goals. These games are coming down to last second turnovers. These games are coming down to a penalty here, a penalty there. These games are highly competitive. And we want to just diminish. I hate when people do that. Let's diminish it because that means, hey, did we really learn anything from Deshaun Watson in the Giants game? I mean, that team, they're going to be getting rid of their coach. They made a terrible decision with Daniel Jones. He's the worst quarterback in the league. The number one receiver's a rookie. That defense, are you serious? They were carving them. Stop with that. Good gracious, man. I listen, the real dudes that understand the game, understand the football out there, understands that it's week to week. And sometimes I just get so annoyed with it because it's like, come on, fellas, you're smarter than this. You know that. You know, if we'd have lost to the Jaguars and we had 13 and they had 18, we was going to be all over. We was going to be all over. Why is he the guy? Why this don't matter? Why all of this? We would have done it. So I'm just trying to stop y'all right now. We're not going to do that. And if they beat the Giants, and if they do, I'm on to the Las Vegas Raiders, and then I'm on to the Commanders. And we're going to take every single game by game, throw by throw. I'm not about to simulate and fast forward none of these games. I didn't sit in the offseason way too long talking about guys in their basement coming up with top 10 lists or rankings for the guys. And now we get to the season and I want to fast forward past the Giants? No, I'm going to digest every second of the Giants game. I'm going to digest any wins, losses. I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to break it down. And then after we get that out of the way, once we get a win and secure a win, I will then move on to the Las Vegas Raiders. All this other stuff, I'm not doing that no more. I'm sorry. I'm not going to engage in it because we do too much skimming over the stuff that actually matters. And I'm asking myself, are you watching the games? Are you watching what's really going on? Because everybody I bring up here, everybody I talk to, all the former players say the same thing. But all the former pros is saying the same thing. So you got to ask yourself, if all the former pros are saying the same thing, is it them that's off or is it us? I'm just saying. What I am saying is when we get back, we're going to talk to Leroy, another former player. One of the reasons why people claim I'm moving the goalposts on Deshaun Watson is because I'm condoning his under 200-yard throwing performances. Well, but when you look around a little bit, it ain't just Deshaun Watson throwing for under 200. It's some of the top names in the game. We'll delve into why exactly that is happening. And is that one of the reasons people have a disconnect at quarterback because of the low numbers, the low touchdowns, and not the production we used to. We'll come back and do that right here on this episode of The Ultimate Browns. We do football preferably. It's a football state, but if you want baseball, if you want to be an informed baseball fan, and you really want to get into it with the Guardians, this is the place to be. Zach Miles will Adam the Bull. This is must watch as we get closer to the playoffs and the Guardians lock up a first round bye and the AL Central. Make sure you check those guys out on the on the Ultimate Guardians. Ultimate Guardians. Also, Ultimate Cavaliers, Jason Lloyd and Mikey McNuggets, they will be keeping you locked. Isaac Okoro just signed an extension, so the Cavs really did run it back with everybody. Mikey McNuggets and Jason Lloyd break that down, so make sure you check that out as basketball season rapidly approaches. Pearl, he's always in the community, always in the streets, repping 216, so it's only right that he got Ultimate 216 amidst sports and culture. Make sure you guys check that out as well. And then me. You know what I do, man. We drop the most videos. We do the biggest numbers. We do everything over here. And we got the biggest fan base. Ultimate Browns, we appreciate you guys showing up twice a week to get some of this content. And we want to thank you so much for that and doing what you do. And I told you I was going to give you an opportunity. I snuck it in on you. Today's code word is big win. Today's code word is big win. BIG. WIN. How do you win? How do you go? How do you get this Kool-Aid Mafia countdown t-shirt? How did we get this going? Send the code word big win to gbush91@hotmail.com by 12 p.m. Sunday afternoon before the game, 9/22/24, to enter, and 3 lucky winners will win the Browns Kool-Aid Mafia t-shirt courtesy of G Bush in the Barbershop. Again, just to let you know how you win, send the code word big win, BIGWIN, to gbush91@hotmail.com by 12 p.m. Sunday. That is 9/22/24 to enter. 3 lucky winners will get the Browns Kool-Aid Mafia t-shirt, and this is all courtesy of G Bush himself and the Barbershop. And if you're not lucky enough to win, you can get this shirt right over at bushlinebeauty.com/barbershop. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. G Bush with you right here on the Ultimate Browns. We want to thank everybody for locking in with us. Leroy Horde was on the show with us, and he talked about what the heck is going on with the quarterback play. Why all of a sudden is everybody, quote unquote, being mid?
We got to start looking at quarterbacking on a curve, because it's been average everywhere. I've never seen more 20 for 30s for 145 yards than I've seen this year in the NFL.
It's crazy.
Okay, 29 for 40 for 180. Right? So I don't know what this is, but everybody tends to be looking at their quarterback going, what the hell? Because I know they ain't give Aaron Rodgers $50 million for that.
Right.
So while we sitting here, everybody getting on their quarterback, right? Should we look at just the way the position is being asked to be played at the moment?
Yeah, I think that was a great observation. We've been talking about it on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show for a while now. And a lot of people have been flabbergasted by it. But if you're a fan of G Bush, if you've been listening to me a long time on the Barbershop, my own platform, make sure you subscribe over there if you haven't. If you've been listening to me on 92.3 The Fan, on the Barbershop radio show, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday, make sure you check that out. If you've been listening to me, you know that I've been on this for a very long time. I took, when Nick Chubb used to get the football, right? And I say they got Nick Chubb on a pitch count, and I don't understand it. And people started talking about how you don't pay a running back, and running backs is diminished, and you can get anybody to do that. So easy a caveman can do it. The problem with that is you start to really believe that stuff. And just because you could have got away with it a little bit and you say, okay, well, we don't have to prioritize that. We've been completely diminished the run game in general and diminished the fact that a run game, a truly dominant run game or a proficient run game opens up the passing game and makes life easier for your quarterback. We've been told so many times by the pundits that a 3-yard or option route or a 3-yard screen pass or a 3-yard orbit handoff is the same as a run play. It is not. It is not. These announcers say cliches and they mess all our heads up. They mess us up and have us thinking that is really facts. Do you know that can never substitute the run game? Because when I'm running and I got the offensive linemen with their hand in the dirt coming off the ball, knocking people off the ball, I got my fullback, I got my people out knocking corners into the sidelines, I got safeties coming down second guessing whether or not they want to put their nose into this because they're like, it's a business decision. It's some stuff you're gonna have to pay for you when you get down here. And when it's in the fourth quarter and you've been battering them and bruising them and they keep getting them off that pile and they have to keep putting themselves back in the huddle, and guess what? A man's will breaks at some point. Everybody has a breaking point. And I'm going to tell you, there's nothing more demoralizing to be a defender like myself looking in the huddle, looking at that linebacker call that play, and you say, oh, man, that boy ain't got it. He don't want no more. He been taking on that fullback, that zone lead all game. Man is broken. When you look at that corner on the boundary and he got to set the edge on that toss. He got to keep setting the edge on that stretch play. And he out there looking like Denzel Ward. No offense, Denzel, but we don't want you making tackles like that. How many times is that safety gonna run the alley with reckless abandonment and out here shooting the alley like his hair's on fire? You don't tell me that a little jet screen or a little bubble or a little tunnel screen is the same thing as running the football. You may get 3 yards the same, you may get 4 yards the same, but by no means, way, shape, or form, they are not the same thing. One of them is imposing your will on somebody. One of them is demoralizing you. The other one is like, hey, we'll get in a position to make a tackle. Hey, the receiver is running around out here. Hey, we could push him out of bounds and grab his. That's tap football out there, right? So one thing that people have diminished is the run game. The second thing that people have diminished is the fact that defenses aren't stupid. This isn't fantasy football. Why would I sit back there? My coach used to always say this: make them take another snap. It's just the law. It's just statistics, fellas. It's just the way it works. You may by the law of averages say that if you have the longer the drives go, the more likely something gonna happen. A holding, a drop pass, legal hands to the face, false starts, things that derail your ability to keep a drive going. And the longer and the more you make them take snaps, the more successful in the long haul your defense will be. So now, instead of being like, okay, now you got people calling like Mel Kiper who done lost his mind. Hey, let's get rid of 2 high safeties. No, how's about you be patient and methodically work the ball downfield and you score based on your skill and strategy, not changing the rules. See, a lot of this stuff that happened with the offense and people throwing for all these yards was the fact that there were rule changes. There were rule changes. You can no longer jam a guy at the line of scrimmage. A holding penalty within the 5 yards is a 5-yard penalty. But guess what it does? It keeps drives going, automatic first down. You can't hit a quarterback up high. You can't hit him low. You can't put your weight on him. You can't do nothing to him. You can't breathe on him. 15 yards, keep the drive going. You can't put illegal hands to the face on linemen. Hey, you've been grabbing me and holding me the whole time. I put my hand up there. Up, you touched his face mask. Guess what? We're going to extend the drive. But what defenses have got to, they said, okay, y'all want to do it like that? So we'll bend, but don't break. Get all the yards you want between the 20s. But when you get down here and this field is condensed and you down there by the goal line and you ain't got no room to work and run people off, I'm going to put my heels on the goal line and we're going to figure it out. And if I can make you kick 3s instead of giving up 7s, that is how We have you get with 150, 180, 175 because you're going to have to dink and dunk the whole field. And for all you guys that ain't patient enough to do that, we're going to get 2 interceptions from you because you're going to try to force one. You're going to get impatient. You're going to force one because you're going to say, damn it, I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm Joe Burrow. I'm Josh Allen. I can fit that there. I could put it on him right there, and we're going to fool you. And those who don't have that type of arm, you don't even try. Don't even try that. And then coupled with this, the fact that you can play 7 in coverage now if you got elite edge rushers. If you got an elite pass rusher, or at least pass rushers up front, now you can drop 7 into coverage. Now think about that. 7 in coverage, but you still got 2 deep. So that means you got 5 underneath defenders that could theoretically cover every blade of grass out there. And you still could get a pass rush if you got a Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons. And coupled with the fact that teams don't really want to legitimately run the football, they want to stay in shotgun and be cute. Now you don't even punish them for having dime and nickel packages in. If you want to be in dime and I come out and I'm coming out in I formation, good luck with that. We're gonna run to the wheels fall off. But teams don't even punish people for small personnel groups no more because they're used to throwing the ball like it was 5 years ago. Y'all better switch up and let y'all know something right now. It's a new day. It ain't going nowhere. And now the way you're recruiting and the way the size of people has changed, the teams that's going to be dominant in the next 2 years are going to be the teams that are able to switch and pivot on the run and say, oh, y'all zig, I'm a zag. I'm going to get 2 backs. I'm still going to have an elite quarterback. But what I'm asking my elite quarterback to do is make me 3 to 4 plays a game, 3 to 4 wild plays, where it's, man, how did he fit that ball in there? Man, he dropped that in the bucket. Wow, he escaped the pressure and made something happen downfield. Man, those are the it plays that you pay for. And you still gonna have teams that gonna say, well, listen, you've been drafting these nickel corners for 4 or 5 years, and they 5'10", 180. You think about it. JOK is not even like these backers are smaller, edge defenders, the speed rushers are smaller, safeties now today's what corners used to be in the back end. It's all a trend. You know, nothing new under the sun, and everything is cyclical. Mark my words. Or y'all can just wait till Bernie or Leroy say it, and I'll take credit for it later because you don't want to give me no credit. But it's okay. I still love you. I still love you. With that being said, make sure you're checking this out behind or after the game. I'm going to say behind the glass, but after the game, 2-minute warning. The best, the best pregame, the Browns postgame in the game. Best Browns post game. We do major numbers. We do the most numbers. Instant reaction right over here on UCSS. Make sure you do it. Mikey McNuggets, myself, and Earl the Pearl. Make sure you check that out after the game. And then, as always, don't forget, we will be right back at you, ready to go on Monday. Reaction Monday from the game. And we give you 2 hours of nothing but Browns content. We don't have very many guests. We give you Adam the Bull, myself, Jason Lloyd, Jay Crawford. We'll be right back in here breaking down this game, breaking the game down, and hopefully it is a Browns win. With that being said, you never know where I'm going to be. Radio, television, internet, you don't know what it is. But if you want the fresh cut and the fresh take on sports, the barbershop is always open. So you better listen for the Clippers. Have a great Browns weekend. Hopefully get that dub. Go Browns. Go G. Bush. Go Ultimate Browns. Go UCSS. All the above, letter D. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.